I think 7 novels, and I've been part of this beautiful group of people for a really long time. And one thing I wanted to do before we get into it is invite you to my book launches. Is that too loud? Or is it okay? Okay. And I have cards over at my tiger tablecloth, which you can't miss. And so I'd really like you to check those out, especially the virtual book launch, because it will show you, Roger, okay, I'll get back on the camera. It will show you how a big national virtual book launch can be. I have a great company that does it, and so I invite you, it's free. You have to check this out because all of us could do that. In fact, we could do it as a club, which would be really cool, presented by Redwood Writers. So, into the book. So this is my novel, Silver Echoes, and it is an incredible story. I'm going to go through my pictures quickly. This is the real silver dollar Tabor, and she was an amazing, talented woman in the 1920s. And she was a writer, she was a songwriter, she was a poet, she should have been part of our club. She wrote novels, she was amazingly talented. She came from an extremely rich family called the Tabors in Denver, Colorado, and they were silver miners who were probably the wealthiest people in our country in the 1880s, but they lost their entire fortune with the silver crash of 1893. And that traumatized this little girl who was 7 years old. I think she was 6 or 7 by then. And it traumatized her incredibly because you were raised with being in a mansion and owning 1 million carriages. She had her horse, they had 100 peacocks on the territory, and she was raised like that, and all of a sudden they lost everything, and her very famous, very rich father, who was a US Senator, also died, and her mother was forced to take her to their only mining cabin up in the mountains in Leadville, Colorado, away from everything, isolated, and raised her there. So she developed, I discovered, and no one really has discovered this, so it's going to be very controversial, that she had DID, which is dissociated identity disorder, and that combined with her extremely talented self, who wrote books and plays and was an actress. She was a movie actress. It was an amazing story that I had to write about. So this is how the book opens up, if you can see this picture. I wish you'd come see it at my table if you can't. But this is a true picture of Silver Dollar Tabor doing the slide for life, which is hanging by your teeth, the skin of your teeth, with an iron bar and sliding across a lake. And so that's how I opened the book. And why is she doing that? Because she is an extremely poor girl. Her mother is just a pauper. She was a beauty. Her mother was a beauty and rich. And now she's just a pauper with newspaper in her shoes and everything, and up in the cabin, and she wants to get their name back and their fame back because they actually own theaters all over the West, and they had a theater circuit, so theater was part of her blood. So she was going to get their name back and be famous. So this is how she starts. Okay.
Yeah. Show it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm showing the pic. Okay, so this is another picture of Silver Dollar Tabor and her 25 years old, and remember that's Prohibition, and that's speakeasies. And weirdly, her family lawyer attacked her. I won't tell you exactly how, but there was another huge trauma in her life that happened when she was about this age, and she had to run and escape him, escape her home and her mother who she loved, and she never saw her mother again. She went to Chicago and she became a showgirl. Oh, stop, I'm already done. So we'll just finish that up by saying she's a showgirl, she's in the movie business, she has this disassociative personality, and it's disaster.